In a quiet village, a 17-year-old girl named Amara stumbles upon a forbidden secret, a giant with a heart unlike any other. Will fear or courage shape their story? Discover the unexpected bond between beauty and a beastly legend in What Happened When the Giant Loved a Beautiful Girl. Stay tuned. Long ago, in a small Nigerian village called Obodo, there lived a beautiful girl named Amara. Amara was known far and wide for her radiant smile, her kindness, and her long, shiny braids that looked like golden ropes when the sun touched them. Everyone in the village adored her, but Amara had one problem: she was tired of people praising her beauty. She wanted someone to see her for who she truly was, not just how she looked. One day, while Amara was fetching water from the village stream, she heard a loud thud in the forest. The ground shook beneath her feet, and birds flew out of the trees. She stopped and listened carefully. Thud, thud, thud. The sound grew louder and closer. Suddenly, a towering figure emerged from the shadows. It was Obodo, the giant of the Forbidden Mountain. He was so tall that the trees barely reached his shoulders, and his voice boomed like thunder when he spoke. Obodo had dark brown skin, a bald head, and a scar on his left cheek. Though he looked fierce, his eyes were soft and full of sadness. Amara froze in fear. She had heard stories about Obodo. The villagers said he was dangerous and stole food from farms. But looking at him now, she saw no anger in his eyes. Instead, he looked lonely. "Don't be afraid," Obodo said gently, kneeling down to her level. His voice, though deep, carried a kindness she didn't expect. "I won't harm you. My name is Obodo." Amara didn't run away. She didn't scream. Instead, she held her water pot tightly and asked, "What do you want from me?" Obodo sighed and looked at the ground. "I don't want to scare you. I only came because I've seen you before. You visit the stream often, and your laughter echoes through the forest. It warms my heart." Amara blinked in surprise. "You watch me?" she asked, her voice a mix of curiosity and fear. Obodo nodded. "Not to harm you. I'm just lonely. No one speaks to me. They all run away. But you seem different." Amara's heart softened. She could tell he wasn't lying. His sadness reminded her of how she felt when people only cared about her looks. She decided to be brave. "Why don't you come to the village and talk to others? Maybe they'll get to know you." Obodo shook his head sadly. "They won't accept me. I am a giant. They think I am a monster." Before Amara could respond, she heard voices calling her name. It was the villagers looking for her. "Amara! Amara, where are you?" "I have to go," she whispered, glancing back at Obodo. "But maybe we can talk again." Obodo's eyes lit up with hope. "Will you come back tomorrow?" Amara hesitated. She didn't know what the villagers would say if they found out she had spoken to the giant. But something about Obodo made her feel that he wasn't the monster everyone said he was. Finally, she nodded. "I'll try." As she hurried back to the village, her heart raced. She couldn't stop thinking about Obodo. Who was he really? And why did he seem so kind? In the distance, Obodo watched her go. For the first time in years, he smiled. He didn't know what would happen, but he hoped that Amara's courage would be the beginning of something wonderful. Or something dangerous. The next day, Amara woke up with a mix of excitement and fear. She couldn't stop thinking about her encounter with Obodo, the giant of the Forbidden Mountain. Part of her wanted to forget the whole thing and stay safe in the village, but another part, the braver part, wanted to know more about the mysterious giant. As she carried her water pot to the stream, her best friend, Nikke, noticed her strange behavior. Amara, Nkechi called, running to catch up with her. Why do you look so worried? Did something happen? Amara hesitated. She trusted Nkechi, but she wasn't ready to tell anyone about Obodo. Nothing, she said with a small smile. I just didn't sleep well. Nkechi squinted at her but didn't push further. All right. Be careful at the stream. You know the elders say the forest is dangerous. Amara nodded quickly and walked faster, her heart pounding. She reached the stream and looked around nervously. The forest was quiet, except for the chirping birds and the rustling leaves. Then she heard it, thud, 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 the familiar sound of heavy footsteps. Amara, a deep voice called softly. Obodo stepped out from behind a large tree, his giant frame towering over the stream. You came back. I said I would, Amara replied, trying to sound brave. But we can't talk for long. If anyone sees me with you, they'll think I've lost my mind. Obodo's face fell. I don't want to cause you trouble. If you don't want to talk. No. Amara interrupted, surprising herself. I want to talk. I want to know more about you. Why do you live in the forest? Why don't you come to the village? Obodo sat down on a large rock, making it look tiny under his weight. I wasn't always alone, he began. I used to live in a village far from here, but when I grew too big, the people became afraid of me. They thought I would hurt them, so they chased me away. Since then, I've lived in the mountains. No one has ever tried to know me until now. Amara felt a pang of sadness. That's not fair. You didn't choose to be a giant. Obodo shook his head. No, I didn't. But I've learned to live with it. Still, when I saw you, I thought, maybe, just maybe, someone could see me as more than a monster. Amara didn't know what to say. She could see the loneliness in Obodo's eyes, and it made her feel guilty for fearing him at first. I don't think you're a monster, she said finally. You're kind. You're just different. Obodo smiled, a rare and warm smile that made his scarred face look almost gentle. Thank you, Amara. That means more to me than you know. Before they could talk more, Amara heard footsteps approaching. She panicked and turned to Obodo. You have to go. Someone's coming. Obodo quickly stood up and disappeared into the forest, his massive steps as quiet as possible. Moments later, Nkechi appeared, carrying her own water pot. Amara, what are you doing? Why are you just standing there? I was resting, Amara stammered, trying to hide her nervousness. Nkechi raised an eyebrow but didn't question further. Together, they filled their pots and headed back to the village. But Amara's thoughts were far away, back in the forest with Obodo. She couldn't tell Nkechi the truth, not yet. The villagers would never understand. That night, as Amara lay in bed, she couldn't sleep. She thought about Obodo's sad story and his gentle smile. She didn't know why, but she felt drawn to him. Something about him was different, special. But what would happen if the villagers found out? Would they chase him away again? Or worse? As she drifted off to sleep, Amara made a decision. She would keep her meetings with Obodo a secret. For now. But deep down, she knew this was only the beginning of something much bigger and much more dangerous. The days went by, and Amara continued to meet Obodo in secret by the stream. Each time they talked, she learned more about him. Obodo wasn't just big, he was smart and kind. He told her stories about the stars, the animals in the forest, and even about his dreams. I wish I could live like everyone else, Obodo said one day as he watched the stream flow. Go to the market, make friends, and laugh with people. Amara smiled. You're already doing that. You have me as a friend. Obodo's face lit up. Yes, I do. You're the only one who doesn't run away. As they laughed, neither of them noticed a small shadow lurking behind the bushes. It was Uche, one of the village boys. Uche had come to the stream to fish, but when he saw Amara talking to someone, his curiosity got the better of him. He crept closer and froze when he saw Obodo. Amara is talking to the giant. Uche whispered to himself, his eyes wide with fear. He dropped his fishing net and ran back to the village as fast as his legs could carry him. Back in the village, Uche burst into the marketplace, panting and out of breath. Everyone, listen, he shouted. Amara is talking to the giant in the forest. The villagers gathered around him, their faces a mix of shock and confusion. What are you saying, Uche? Asked Nkechi, the village elder. Are you sure? Yes. I saw her with my own eyes. She was laughing and talking to him like they're friends. Uche exclaimed. The villagers began to murmur among themselves. Why would Amara talk to a giant? Does she not know how dangerous he is? Maybe the giant cast a spell on her, another voice suggested. The news spread quickly, and by evening, everyone in the village was talking about Amara and the giant. Some wanted to confront her, while others decided to wait and see what she would do next. The next day, as Amara walked to the stream, she noticed the villagers staring at her. Some whispered behind her back, while others avoided her completely. She felt uneasy but kept walking, determined to meet Obodo. When she reached the stream, Obodo was already waiting for her, sitting on his usual rock. His face lit up when he saw her. Amara. You're here. Amara forced a smile, but her heart was heavy. Obodo, we need to be careful. Someone saw us yesterday. The villagers know I've been talking to you. Obodo's smile faded, and he looked down at the ground. I knew this would happen. They will never accept me, Amara. They will try to chase me away. No, they won't, Amara said firmly. I won't let them. You're not a monster, Obodo. If they knew you like I do, they would see that too. Obodo shook his head. It's not that simple. Fear makes people blind to the truth. Before Amara could reply, they heard voices in the distance. The villagers were coming, and they were getting closer. Amara, one voice called. Where are you? You have to go. Amara whispered urgently. They can't find you here. Obodo nodded and stood up. Be safe, Amara. I'll be nearby if you need me. With that, he disappeared into the forest, his massive footsteps fading into silence just as the first villagers appeared at the stream. Nkechi was at the front, her face filled with worry. Amara, are you all right? I'm fine, Amara replied, trying to sound calm. Why are you all here? We came to check on you, Nkechi said, glancing around nervously. Uche told everyone that you've been talking to the giant. Amara's heart raced, but she kept her face steady. Uche is mistaken. I was alone yesterday. The villagers exchanged doubtful looks but said nothing more. As they walked back to the village, Amara knew she had to come up with a plan. If the villagers discovered the truth about her friendship with Obodo, they might do something terrible. But what could she do? How could she protect Obodo while convincing the villagers that he wasn't a threat? As she lay in bed that night, Amara's mind raced with questions. She had promised Obodo that she would stand by him, but the fear of what might happen next kept her awake. If they find out the truth, Obodo won't stand a chance. I have to protect him, no matter what. What will Amara do next? Can she keep her friendship with Obodo a secret? Or will the villagers discover the truth?